to start this PPT. Basically, like rice hydroponics is India's fastest growing precision farming and controlled environment agriculture company. Like we are basically promoting that like most of the people move towards like controlled environment agriculture and hydroponics farming, like or we can say towards the modern agriculture farming techniques. Now, what our mission is to make like agriculture a sustainable business. Basically, like we want to promote the hydroponics farming like to grow in soilless medium. Basically, our mission is like that we can develop the 200 plus acres of farm by 2025. But by God's grace, we have like developed almost 300 plus acres of farms in India and out of the borders also by 2023 itself. Like recently, we have developed a farm of 200 plus acres uh, with Sangam Group in Bilwara. Basically, we have started our operations from Ahmedabad, and like we are working in and like we have developed almost 40 plus farms in 12 plus states and 30 plus cities of India. So our projects basically like as I have told, like we have developed almost 25 lakh plus square feet of area, 40 plus farms we have developed in 12 plus states and 30 plus cities. And we have developed almost some of the international assignments are also coming up. We are also coming up with some of the international assignments such as like in USA, UK, Abu Dhabi, Muscat, Lesotho. Now in Abu Dhabi the work is also going on. Basically, what do we offer is we offer like outdoor hydroponic projects, indoor hydroponic projects, soilless cultivation in grow bag with coco bed, polyhouse structure development, auto fertigation unit we provide the IoT automation, like we also do the joint venture partnership models, we do the container farms, small hydroponic setups, we do agronomic consultation, we provide online and offline trainings are also there. Now, if we will move towards like basically what are the feeding challenges in India? Like we can say like from in the like the last index which was taken by the global hunger index in 2021, India is at 101 first place out of 116 countries. So you can see like what is the situation of like feeding challenges we are facing like in like by 2050 the population will also going to increase. So to fulfill this demand we have to do something. So for this we have to move towards like sustainable agriculture, or we can move towards the controlled environment agriculture to get the good production. Like what are they basically like see like in open land cultivation like people are using most of the like pesticides and all. So by using the pesticides and all we can see one thing is there, like it affects our environment like the air, soil, water, all it is contaminating. So like surface water contamination would also be there, like if we are giving urea to the plant so it is getting mixed with the soil also, it is getting mixed with the water also, so it is contaminating, and the fumes which is like coming out of that, so that is also impacting your environment. हाँ, अभी फिलहाल में 10. So it also affects the soil, it also contaminates the soil. Sorry for the like disturbance. Effect on the soil fertility, like it also affect the soil fertility. Soil fertility, if we will talk about the like beneficial or microorganism which are present in the soil, which helps in growth of the like plants which we are doing. So it also affects that. Contamination of air, soil, and non-target vegetation. Non-target vegetation is like which depends on the other plants to grow or other thing we can say, like any other environmental condition. So it also gets affected. Like what are the food supply challenges in the urban areas basically? Like if we will talk about your food transportation problem, like from the like rural areas, there would be a bigger problem of the transportation. So like people are facing transportation problem to send their produce, like they are producing in the rural areas, in the villages, the farmers are producing the good produce, like they are producing the vegetables, and if they want to send it to the like urban areas, like if we are in any of the like if we are in Uttar Pradesh and we are at the remote location, from there we do have our farm, and if we want to send that material, so there might be the problem with the like transportation, also sanitation and hygiene issues. Like the people those who are doing the farming in the open land cultivation, what kind of water they are using, we are not aware of that. What hygiene they are maintaining, we are not aware of that. We are only taking the veggies from the like mandis or the vendors which are coming towards like which are near to our places. So we can control all these things. Sometimes the water scarcity, due to water scarcity, like the pollution is also there, and the people are like using what kind of water. So sometimes they face water scarcity. So the any of the water which is available with them, they are providing that to the plants. So it also like uh, creates a problem for us. Like if we will talk about the food spoilage and wastage, so like see if we are doing it in open cultivation, and like if it rains so much, so the food got wastage, and like it doesn't reach to the like people, so the rates will also increase. It will we can say the crops will also get deteriorate, and everything can be possible, like if it is there. And like food poisoning risk is also there, like if people we are using any kind of like pesticide, fungicide, or like something is there, and if it get mixed in a higher amount, so there might be the chance of like food poisoning or something would be there. Now like see, they are producing the vegetables, but they do not have their storage facilities at their own place. They do not have their processing facilities at their own place. Preparation, distribution, how they will distribute, like they do not have like that much networking area or something that they can distribute in B2B, B2C or somewhere else. Now what are the environmental risks? Basically, if you talk about the environmental risk, like the climate change, sudden climate change would be there. It can also harm the crops. Like if suddenly, if it starts raining, or suddenly if the temperature goes down, so frost condition would be there. That can also like damage the crops. If like more like the temperature is on a higher side, so then also there might be a problem. Like if you will talk about the drought conditions, like in the state of Maharashtra, there is a district called Latur. So we have seen like there is too much water scarcity is there. So like the people over there are like moving towards like the sustainable agriculture, and they are like supplying the water in less amount and getting a good yield. So like but time by time the people are moving towards the sustainable agriculture solutions. Like extreme weather, like if cyclones or something would be there, that can also damage the crops and all. So it will be a bigger challenge for like all would be there, like inefficient use of limited resources. If we will talk about the inefficient, like we do have the sufficient amount, excessive amount of water to use, but people are like in the countries like UAE and all, the people are getting water on like they have to pay for the water basically. So one thing is there, like in India we have free water availability, like there would not be any kind of charges, so that we have to pay for the water. So the people are using it in a excessive amount, like they do not have any like volume or something to be used. Like if we are giving the water to the crops, like if it requires or does not require, they are continuously giving the water to the crops. So that could not be done. Like agricultural land also they are using, like see this we have to, but it is not getting proper yield. we can say like we are not getting proper results from them, then why to use the excessive land? Inefficient usage would be there. Fertilizers, like they are giving the like per acre they have to give 40 kgs of urea, so they are giving, they are not checking the soil availability, what is the availability in the soil, what are the nutrient micronutrients available in the soil, they are not checking that, and they are giving the nutrients continuously on regular basis. Now if they are giving that fertilizers, and if it is in excessive amount, so there might be the chances of like increase into the like your heavy metals. So if the heavy metals would be there, so that can also be a bigger problem. Like if we will talk about this, what would be the solution for this? So the solutions is like the controlled environment agriculture. Now, what is controlled environment agriculture? Like growing the plants into the like poly house or in a room or within the controlled manner by using the limited resources. So that is called the controlled environment agriculture. Like we can, by using the controlled environment agriculture, we can increase the plant quality, production effectiveness. Then like there are different types of growing models, growing systems would be there, we can increase that all. Like if we will talk about the history, so like for the controlled environment agriculture, so the first ever controlled environment agriculture, like polyhouse if we will talk about, so it was made in Rome. It was built in Rome with the help of stone walls and glass ceilings. Then in 1960, controlled environment agriculture structures were made, started using the polyhouses, like with the help of galvanized steel and plastic, they have started using that. In 1980, this technology entered into the market of like India. And in 1998, the first Indo-Israel project in ICAR, it is an agriculture institute in based in Delhi. So they have started using this. Now, what are different types of controlled environment agriculture? Hydroponics is there, aeroponics is there, aquaponics is there, vertical farming is there, and grow bags with coco pit under protected structure. So, what is hydroponics? Basically, hydroponics is like an active system, basically used for growing of the like leafy crops and all type of systems. Aeroponics is there. Aeroponics is basically the air layering of the plants into the air, and they are giving misting to the plants. Like aquaponics, if we will talk about, so aquaponics is you been done you by the use of fish. So basically, it's also like a pond type system. Now, if we'll talk about your vertical farming, so vertical farming is done in the layers in the, inside a room. We can do like if we will talk about the grow bags with coco pit, so grow bags are basically like filled with the coco pit and the plants are grown into that for the vine crops. Basically, now if we will talk about your like we will talk about later on all this type of system, what all kind of systems are there. Like current scenario of agriculture, what is the current scenario? Like after the independence, the population has increased. So definitely the like demand for the food would also increase. As the population would increase, the demand would also increase. So now, according to the union government, like central government of India, so what they have estimated in like the total food production is 291.95 million metric tons in 2019 to 2020. Now they have like targeted to increase it to 298.3 metric tons, but it is still less than that. Agriculture contribution in the GDP is like less than 20%. Like you can see, like people are, most of the people are depend on this. Like we can say almost like 44 to 45% of the population is like depends on the agriculture. Like they are doing the farming only. So then also the GDP has the like very less contribution. Like if we will talk about the food grain production in the country. So basically, the people is planning to like they were planned to do it 291.95 million tons but the food demand is increased, and they are like now they have achieved a new target, and they are planning to achieve it to 345 million tons. Basically, what are the like objectives of controlled environment agriculture? Basically, why we are why we have to move towards the controlled environment agriculture. So basically, first thing is like protection of plant from the abiotic stress. Basically, what we understood in the previous slides is like the plants are getting like in the open, if we are doing the open land cultivation, the plants are getting the abiotic stresses. So like by using of the controlled environment agriculture, we can minimize this, and we can control all this. So what basically the abiotic stresses such as temperature stress, like if, as I have told already, like if would be more cold or there would be more hot, that can also damage the plants. Drought stress is there, like water in sufficient water availability would be there, that can also be the chances. Salinity stress, like if there is the water is having high salinity, that can also like give a stress to the plant. Waterlogging stress, like if the land is filled up with the like, and we are not using any kind of soil in controlled environment agriculture or a hydroponics or soilless farming, so we do not have any like relation with the soil. Basically, waterlogging stress. Now if we will talk about like the we are giving continuous nutrients, or we are giving continuous fertilizers to the soil, so that can also like increase nutrient imbalance might be there. Toxicity might be there. Like imbalance means toxicity, like if it is, it can increase also and it can decrease also. So UV radiations, wind stress, air pollution, all this could be the like heavy metal. So now if we will talk about the efficient water use with minimum weed infestation. Now we, like if we are in controlled environment agriculture, so we require very less water. Like if we can talk about, basically we can like save up to 80% of the water using the controlled environment agriculture or the modern agriculture techniques. Enhancing productivity per unit area. Enhancing productivity per unit area means like we can increase in, like we can maximize the number of plants in controlled environment agriculture, like how much area can be used for which type of plant. Like in open land we can check this, we cannot do this. So minimize the use of pesticides in crop production, so we can like minimize the use of pesticides. Basically, like in open land farming, the people are using n number of pesticides, but like if we are in controlled environment agriculture, so there may not be any kind of, we can say, infestation or we have to use we do not have to use any kind of pesticides in, we can reduce it, like we can reduce it to like almost, see, 1%. Promotion of high value quality horticulture produce. Like if we are in controlled environment agriculture and we are producing, like if we will talk about the bell peppers, so India is the second largest bell pepper exporter in the global market. So we can say like we can increase the we can promote the high value crops, like bell peppers are, if we can talk about bell peppers are a high value crop. So, and we can also get a quality produce. Like we are controlled environment agriculture, and we are controlling each and everything, the parameters like temperature, humidity, light, carbon dioxide, nutrients, and all is in our control. So we can get a quality produce out of that. And another thing is that like we can get the year-round production or off-season production. We can take like we can take the flowers in any of the season. We can grow like vegetable crops, fruit crops. Like we can say, in the sense we can say we can get year-round production. If we will talk about the production of disease-free and genetically better transplants, like see, like if we are growing the plants in the soil, so there might be a chance of soil-borne diseases would be there. So we are not using any kind of soil in the controlled environment agriculture. So we can control that also. We will get a disease-free produce. Like there may not be any kind of disease in the. And parameters like temperature, humidity, as I have already told, so that also can be controlled by using of these controlled environment agriculture farm. Basically, like see, almost if we will talk about your so like the end of the 20th century, almost 110 acres of 110 hectares in India is under protected cultivation. And in the world, if we will talk about in the global market, so total area is 2,75,000 hectares. Based on the like food and agriculture organization is there, which is maintaining the data for like which is food scarcity and all that is maintaining. So that is that organization. What they have planned is like the people are moving towards the controlled environment agriculture and the we can say so like in the next coming 30 years, almost 13% of the area, agriculture area would be converted to controlled environment agriculture as per their projections. Like the states, if we will talk about, so the people in the states like Andhra, Gujarat, Maharashtra, Haryana, Punjab, Tamil Nadu, West Bengal, they are moving towards the controlled environment agriculture and they are developing the farms, like they are developing the poly houses and all, so that they will get a good produce, they will get a like disease free produce. So all this is there. Like if you will talk about the global controlled environment agriculture market analysis. So the total protected cultivation area, you can see the like China is on the top, like they have almost 27 like 60,000 hectares of area under protected cultivation. Korea is having 57,444 hectares. If we talk about the Spain is having 52,170 hectares. Japan is having 49,049 hectares. Turkey is having 33,550 hectares. Uh, if you will talk about your Italy is having 56,500 hectares. Mexico, if you will talk about the Mexico is having 11,759 hectares. Netherlands is having 10,000 hectares. In the same way, like our country is also at one place. So, like now, if we will talk about the benefits of controlled environment agriculture, so what are the benefits? Basically, like higher yield in shorter time. Higher yield in shorter time, like see, if we are growing the lettuces in polyhouse or using the hydroponics, so like it is getting ready in 45 days, and if we are growing it into the soil, it is taking time up to 60 days. So, like 15 days time, we can say. So, we are getting a disease free. Okay. Like we were on basically like we will get a higher yield in shorter time, like as I have was talking about like lettuces. So in lettuces, like in controlled environment agriculture, like in hydroponics, using the hydroponics method, we are growing. So it is taking almost like 45 days to get this produce. And if you are growing the like lettuce in soil, so it is taking almost 60 days. Now limited to zero pest control. Like as I have already told, like zero pest control is required or limited. Like human could also be the carrier of the your pest. Like we are going from the outside, and if some paste is stick on our like clothes, and it is going with us, so that might be there, but it is not that much as severe as in open land farming. Very less water requirement, as I have already told, like we can save up to 80% of the water using the like controlled environment agriculture and hydroponics method. Now, if we will talk about, we can like if we are in controlled environment agriculture, we can control our farms using the IoT automation method. IoT automation means like we can control the things, uh, control the operations of the farm by using a mobile application. Auto dosing could be there. Auto dosing is a wonderful thing. Like auto dosers would be installed. Labor, like if we will talk about, like, so only 2 3 people might uh, control this farm, manage this farm. No soil-borne diseases would be there. Soil-borne diseases are like if we are growing the plants into the soil. So, like, see, people are using and they are using many of the pesticides and the like soil-borne diseases are like nematodes and all would be there. So that there may not be any kind of chances because we are not using the soil. We are using coco pit or we are using the another system, NFT system to grow the crops in controlled environment agriculture. And we can get the year-round production as I have already told you. Like if we will talk about the protected cultivation. So protected cultivation, like what is protected cultivation as I have told, like the covering material, like the plastic sheet which is on the polyhouse, it traps the energy within it and it turns that heat into the like we can say the energy and it provides to the plant. It traps, it turns, and then it provides. It is like and incoming solar radiation has shorter wavelength. So like they are having a great energy, but they are having a shorter wavelength. So it can also help in getting that proper sunlight and all. So it is like that. Now there are three types of polyhouse structures. One is your fan and pad temperature controlled polyhouse, another one is your naturally ventilated polyhouse, and third one is your net house. Now, if we will talk about your fan and pad polyhouse, so fan and pad polyhouse is basically like it is a like one side it is having a evaporative cooling pad, another side it is having a your exhaust fans. If we will talk about like your fan, like it works like if we can see the like cooler. Basically, in cooler one side, three sided it is having the pads, and one side it is having fan. So it is working like that. Now, this is a naturally ventilated polyhouse. Naturally ventilated polyhouse basically it is having plastic sheet on the plastic covering on the upper side, and in the side it is having. You can see in the first picture, it is in the side it is having the insect nets. So that insect net basically it is like uh, type of a ventilation type. Basically, it controls the like entrance of the your insects and it the air passes through that. Basically, net house. Net house are of two types. One is your flat shed net house and another one is your dome shaped net house. So that both are made up completely made up of your net insect net. Basically, like if you will talk about the different growing techniques, like in hydroponics, if you will talk about, so there are different growing techniques would be there. One is your NFT system, another one is your Dutch bucket system, and third one is your coco pit based system. If we will talk about your NFT system, so NFT system is having two types of NFTs. One is your like NFT system and Dutch bucket system is your active hydroponic system, and then Cocopit based is your passive hydroponic system. Now, how it is active? Because it is a recirculating system. NFT system and Dutch bucket system are recirculating system. Now, if we will talk about the NFT system, there are two types of NFT system. One is your flatbed NFT, another one is your A-frame NFT. Now, if we will talk about it, basically like crops to be grown. Like in NFT system, we can grow the leafy crops, like let us say basil, chives, oregano, thyme, rosemary. All the exotic leafy crops can be grown using NFT system. Like if we will talk about the Dutch bucket system, so Dutch bucket system is basically you like it is also a recirculating system, but used for the growing of the vine crop. Now we are moving towards the coco pit based system. So coco pit based system is basically like it is having a grow bag, grow slab system and trough system. We are going to see all the type of systems and all the type of like I will show you some pictures and I will like help you in getting that. Like it is a passive system as I have told. Like we do not have to irrigate continuously. like a continuous water supply would not be there, but in NFT and Dutch bucket system, a continuous water supply would be there. Different types of NFT models. So in different types of NFT models, if we will talk about, as I have told you, like there are two types of NFT. One is your flatbed NFT, another one is your airframe NFT. This is an indoor farm. As I have told you, what do we offer is like outdoor hydroponic projects, indoor hydroponic. So this is for the indoor hydroponic projects, and basically in indoor hydroponic projects, if we will talk about, so it is a vertical farming done with the help of grow lights. Like here it is natural sunlight, and here we can grow with the help of grow lights. Now, if you'll talk about your Dutch bucket system, basically Dutch bucket system, it is also a recirculating system, basically used for growing of the vine crops such as colored capsicum, tomatoes, cucumbers, and other vine crops as well. If we will talk about your coco pit based system, so this is a grow bag system. Basically, grow bag system is generally used filled up with the grow like coco pit, and it is used for growing of the vine crops such as cucumber, bell pepper, cherry tomato, zucchini. All this kind of crops can be grown using the coco pit based system. If we will talk about your grow slab system, it is also same, but only the thing is that it is like in a form of slab and it is in a form of bag. Now, this is a vertical trough system. This is a horizontal trough system. Horizontal trough system is basically this type of system is also used for growing of the vine crops. Now, if you will move towards the your IoT automation, what is IoT automation? As I have told, like you can control the different parameters from anywhere. You can sit and you can control the parameters of your farm, such as like what is the PA. You can observe also, and you can control the parameters, such as like you can observe in the observation. You can observe the what is the pH going on, what is the EC going on, what is the water temperature, what is the farm temperature, what is the humidity. You can control. You can check all this, and you can also control the parameter like things like foggers, fan and pad, water channel exhaust fans, air circulation fans. You can control all those things. If you will talk about your leafy crops, the auto dosing unit for the leafy greens, like for the recirculating system. So this system is basically like so it can like accurately deliver as per the values you have set into the system. According to that, you can deliver the nutrients, and you can control the pH of that. Now, if you will to move towards the auto fertigation unit, like as I have told, like we are also giving the auto fertigation unit basically for the it is for the drip irrigation system. Drip irrigation system basically we can use this kind of system into the soil and soil based farming also. So basically, we can like you can see here these blue tanks are the like your concentrated nutrient tanks, and here you can see in the middle picture there is a small screen is there at the left hand. So this screen like you can feed the values according to your like crop and the crop stage. Then this screen gives the commands to the walls, and the nutrient the walls takes the nutrient from this concentrated nutrient tanks and mixed into this white mixing tank, and then it gives command to the specific like wall, so that it goes into your specific zone or specific crop. This is an updated auto fertigation unit we have developed recently. Basically, what are the features of this auto fertigation unit? Basically, like precise nutrient delivery would be there. Like there might not be like if we are setting it at a value of like 1.5 EC and 6.5 pH, so that that would be set only. It is not like that if we have set it at 1.5 and it will reach to 1.8. It is not like that. Now, if we'll talk about your pH and EC control, we can also control the pH, we can also control the EC. There are like multi-channel fertigation would be there, multi-channel fertigation like at different zones also you can give it to the like fertigation. Water flow meters would be there, water flow meters would be there, so you can check how much amount of water is getting mixed, how much amount of nutrient is getting mixed into the mixing tank. Multi-zone capabilities would be there, like you can like irrigate to up to 50 zones. Like auto scheduling would be there. Auto scheduling is like if you are going somewhere and you cannot be at the farm at that time, at the time of irrigation. So you can like schedule it before you are going to somewhere else. So it is like that. Like if you want to irrigate your crop at 9 a.m. in the morning and 2 p.m. in the afternoon and at 5 p.m. So according to that, you can schedule the times and you can manage that. IoT automation, it is a IoT based automation with touch screen and remote monitoring. As I have told, like with the help of IoT automation, you can remote monitor your farm. You and it is having, as I already shown you, the touch screen, automatic climate control. See, the climate can also be controlled using this auto fertigation unit and data recording and logging. Like if you want to see like what nutrient you have given, how much EC wood was there 1 month ago, now if you want to change, so you can check that also. It can be used for soilless and soil based fertigation. It is customizable as per the farm size and crops. Like 50 plus crops can be grown, can be fertigated using this system. It is a cost effective solution with the 1 year warranty, and it is a very easy maintenance. Like we are also providing the container farms basically. So like in container farms, we require very less space is required. Like if you will talk about a 40-footer container, only 320 square feet of area is required to set up this. Like we can grow up to 50 plus crops using this hyper local, like you can move it here and there. Like if you are shifting, if you want to shift your your we can say container. So you can shift it. It is a hyperlocal, effective marketing centerpiece. Like it is a very like for the if we will talk about the people those who are in like hotel industry or like in the restaurants, cafes industry, they it is a very effective marketing thing. Year-round production you can get into this. 90% of the less water is required because and in container farm we can grow only leafy crops. So like it's a recirculating system. The water is flowing and coming back to the tank. The water is flowing and coming back to the tank. So that's why we can save up to 90% of the water. Like 100% pesticide free because it is not having any contamination or something. It is not having contact with the nature or something we can say like that. And you can plan also rooftop cafe or solar power options also can be done on the rooftop of your container. What are the like crops can be grown into the container farm if we will talk about? So there is lettuces, basil, kale, spinach, Swiss chard, coriander, arugula, microgreens, herbs, and all you can grow using this. If we will talk about your like basically different types of sizes we are providing is your 20 feet container, 30 feet container, and 40 feet container. So in the 20 feet container, you can have almost 1000 number of plants. And if you will talk about your 30 feet containers, so 17,000, 1700 number of plants would be there. And 40 feet containers, you can have up to 2500 number of plants. It is a very compact design. In this also you will get a complete automatic climate control like air circulation fans, humidifier, air conditioner system. You can control all these things. It is also a fully IoT based automation. You can also check the parameters from anywhere. It is also having a touch screen HMI display with auto dosing unit. Customized branding options available. Like as per your brand we can customize it also like complete insulation setup like inside it is completely insulated so that any of the air could not come inside. Like if you will talk about your types of vegetables in hydroponics, so there are three types of crops can be grown like leafy vegetables, vine crops, and your medicinal crops. If you will talk about the exotic leafy vegetables, so there are like spinach, basil, lettuce, Swiss chard, oregano, chives, parsley, kale. There are different types of lettuces that can be grown using this system. Like if we will talk about your Dutch bucket or grow slab, grow bag system, so all these exotic vine crops can be grown like colored capsicum, cherry tomatoes, cucumbers, yellow cherry tomatoes, Chinese cabbage, broccoli, red cabbage, zucchini, snacky peppers, all this can be grown. We can also grow Indian vegetables like eggplants, sponge gourd, okra, bottle gourd, cauliflower, cabbage, beetroot, ridge gourd. All this also can be grown using the grow bag or grow slab system. In medicinal crops, if we will talk about, we can grow the ashwagandha, ginger, tulsi, turmeric, shatavari, stevia, rosemary. All these kind of crops can be grown using both the type of systems like grow bag system, either NFT system. Fruits also we can grow such as muskmelon, strawberry, watermelon, yellow watermelon. This also can be grown. Now there are different like I am showing you some of the pictures. Like if we will talk about your like these are the grow bag system. This cucumber crop is there. This is your we can say flat bed NFT. It is a A-frame NFT. You can see the produce pictures also. Like now we will move towards how to prepare the nursery or how to develop the nursery. So first of all, we have to prepare the growing media. Growing media, like if you are sowing the seeds of or like I will show you the both the type of systems for both the type of crops, like for the leafy crops also and for the vine crops also, which type of media is used. Basically, if we will first of all we will talk about the vine crops. So in vine crops, basically, if we will talk about to preparing of the growing media, so we have to in preparation of the growing media we have to use the coco pit, and in coco pit we have to like soak that coco pit in water, and then we have to like mix it properly so that everywhere the water would not, it could not be dried. Then we have to fill it into the trays, we have to place it in we have to place the seeds, again we have to cover it with the coco pit, then we have to add the water, and then we have to like move it to the germination area or dark place so that it will get proper humidity to get the sprout. Like basically if we will talk about, so the seedlings would be ready, like for the vine crops if we will talk about, the seedlings would get ready within 25 to 30 days, like before plantation and seeding. We have to check the seeding, like we are if we like our seedlings have got ready, and now we it's time to transplant that. So we have to check them whether would not there would might not be any kind of disease or pest infestation would be there. Before plantation we have to spray silicon so that it helps in reducing the transplantation shock. Most of the times it is suggested to transplant the bigger seedlings, not the smaller ones. Like the plant should also have the proper rooting system. Like if the proper roots would not be there, it cannot grow properly. Like it takes time as compared to the plants which is having proper roots. Now, if we will talk about your seedlings, should have at least 4 to 6 leaves on the stem at the time of transplantation. Like within 30 days, so the seedlings would get almost to 4 leaves. Like see, these are the different stages. Like first of all, we have to soak the coco pit, then we have to fill it the into the your trays. Then we have to place the seeds. Then we have to water them. Then we have to cover them. Again, we have to remove the cover after sprouting comes. Now we will move towards the germination stage of the leafy greens. So you can see, like first of all, the media used for germination of the like leafy crops is your Oasis cubes. So first, like Oasis cubes is a we can say it's a sterile media. So we have to prepare a nutrient solution for that. So if we are preparing a sorry, if we are preparing a nutrient solution, so we have to prepare the 400 TDS nutrient solution, and then we have to dip the Oasis cubes into that. Then after that we have to place them into the tray. Then we have to put the seeds. After putting the seeds, uh, we have to like cover it with the like you can see we have covered it, and then we have placed it into the dark room. Then when the sprouting comes, like in the trays when the sprouting comes, at that time we have to remove that covering, and we have to place them into the sunlight. Then it starts growing, and this is the final stage. Like if you will talk about your transplantation, if if we will talk about the transplantation, so in transplantation, like we have to check whether like the seedling should be 15 to 18 days old. Basically, like your seedlings are ready for the transplantation in the main growing system. We have to check all that. Like well, if the plants are not having proper roots, so we have to like hold it for some 2 3 more days, then we will transplant it to the main system. Like the seedling should have proper white root should be there. Like if we will talk about your leafy crops, so we have to separate that cubes and we have to place it into the your system. Now if we will talk about your wine crops, so a direct seedling should be transplanted, taken from the seedling tray, and we have to transplant it into the main system. Now like if we are putting the seedlings for your like leafy crops, so we have to place that seedling with the cube in the center of the net pot. Now then we have to play put some of the clay balls, or we can say the hydrotones. This is only for the NFT crops. Then we have to, like, the seedling always should be straight, and if we are transplanting the seedling in the grow bag root process, that should also be in the center of that. And now we do not have to cover that seedlings with the like in the case of I am talking about your NFT system, we are putting the clay balls, so we do not have to cover the seedlings completely with the clay balls. Now there are some of the operations if we will talk about. So pruning is the most important thing which we have to do. Basically, like pruning is basically like the excessive vegetative growth we have to remove. That is called pruning. So basically, like it's a two-stem system. Uh, Basically, it works basically with a two-stem system, unless they like basically they if you will talk about your bell pepper plant, so there might not be any kind of like if three stems would be there, we have to remove the like weak stem, and we have to take only two stems. So in this way, we have to remove the excessive vegetative growth, and we have also have to remove the crown flower. So you can see in the pictures the first flower at the internode. You have to remove that. Then second flower, from the second flower we have to maintain it properly, and we have to harvest it with the fruit. Harvesting basically, like if you will talk about the harvesting for the leafy crops. So and leafy crops, it takes almost 35 to 40 days to get like proper weight and proper we can say we can harvest it within 35 to 40 days. It is a completely mature, it gets mature in 35 to 40 days. If you will talk about your green capsicum, your green capsicum can be harvested after 55 to 60 days of the like germination. Yellow capsicum, it takes almost 70 to 75 days. If you will talk about your red capsicum, it takes almost 80 to 90 days to get the harvest. Like first fruits can be harvested, like if you will talk about like continuously, like your bell peppers. So within 3 to 4 days, at the interval of 3 to 4 days, you can harvest it. Yellow and red fruits can be harvested within like when it gained almost 50 to 80% of the color. At that time, we have to harvest, not before that. After harvest, fruit should be kept in the cool area, like cool place, so that it does not get shock, like harvest shock, or we can if we will directly put it into the sunlight, so it gets shock. And the average yield for your capsicum would be something between 30 to 40 tons per acre. Now, if you will move towards your post-harvest management, so A grade and B grade are there. So there are different types of grades. Now, if you will talk about the A grade, so basically like good size of fruits, good quality of fruits, like shiny fruit should be there. Selected shiny fruit should be selected and properly. It should be properly cleaned. The fruit should have the proper like 3 to 4 lobes. If we will talk about your capsicum or bell pepper specifically, so there should be 3 to 4 lobes. Average weight of that fruit should be like not between like more than 150 grams. So that fruits are kept under A grade. And if you will talk about like your 2 to 3 lobes weight, two, 3 lobes fruit, and if the weight is less than 150 grams, so it is kept under the B grade. Like good quality fruits with uniform maturity, color shape should be like there might not be any kind of like mechanical damage or any kind of spots damage, bruises or something like pesticide residue may not be there, so that all are covered under A grade fruit. Like if the fruits are showing some of the signs like sun scaling, mechanical damage, or insect damage, so that fruit should be discarded. If we will talk about the packaging and storage, so proper like 7 ply or 5 ply thick cartons should be used. The optimum conditions for the storage is 7 to 8 degrees for the capsicum. And the humidity must be between 90 to 95%. Capsicums are like because the capsicums are very sensitive to like below 5 degree temperature. So we have to keep it at a temperature of 7 to 8 degrees. Now, what is EC? Basically, EC is the like the number of salts present into the solution is called your electrical conductivity of that solution. So there are like at different crop stages, the electrical conductivity is different. If we will talk about your like leafy crops, so it ranges between like 0.8 to 1.5. It is like that 1.5, 1.6. It depends on the crops. And if we will talk about your wine crops, especially like if, for the bell peppers, so it ranges between like 1 to 3, like or we can say 1 to 2.8. Like at the initial stage, we are giving it 0.8, then we are increasing it to it is in the same way we can increase it to 2.8 to 3. Now, if we will talk about your pH range, so the pH range is between it should always be between 6 to 6.5, because what happens like it between this range the pH scale is having like 0 to 14. So in between like 6 to 6.5 all the nutrients are available for the plant to uptake. So we have to continuously check our growing media also what is the pH, and the growing media what is the pH in the nutrient tank. We have to check it continuously as per like that. The people are continuously the plants are taking the nutrients. Now if you will talk about your economics of this. So uh, like for the leafy crops, if you will talk about for the 560 square meters farm, so it will cost you something around 33 lakh rupees, excluding of GST and transportation. And like there are 10,000 number of plants would be there, and within like 35 to 40 days cycle, you will get a produce of almost 140 grams from one plant. So, as I have told you, like it is leafy crops are having a cycle of 35 to 40 days. So within 40 days, like in a year, you can take up to 10 number of cycles. So in this way, you can like 140 grams for one plant. So 10,000 number of plants would be 1,400 kgs in one cycle. So in the same way, from 10 number of cycles, so total production in a year would be 14,000 kgs. Now, if you will be selling it at a price of 150 rupees, so you will get a revenue of something around like 21 lakh rupees, okay, in a year. Now, we are running a farm for a year, so there might be a like operational expenses. So, like if you will talk about your leafy crops, seeds. So it will cost you something 1 lakh rupees. If you will talk about your nutrients, so it will cost you 72,000 rupees. If you will talk about your labor, so like in 560 square meter, only two labors are required. And if you are paying them the price of like 300 rupees per day, like 9,000 rupees per month, so for 12 months it would be 2 lakh 16,000 rupees. Now, if you will talk about your IPM, like as I have told you, limited pest control is required, limited. Just for the safer side, we have kept it at 10,000 rupees. If you will talk about your electricity, so electricity would be 2,70,000 rupees for running of this farm. If you will talk about your packaging cost, so packaging cost would be 18,000 rupees for that. Like farm maintenance also give like if something is required, that's why we have like kept it 10,000 rupees. So total annual expenses would be something around your 6,96,000 rupees, almost 7 lakh rupees. So out of 21 lakh, like 6 lakh rupees, if we have reduced, so we have a net profit of almost 14 lakh rupees in a year. So in this way, you can get your ROI within 2.3 years. Now, if we can see the projections for your indoor hydroponic projects. So for 500 square feet of farm, almost 3,000 plus number of plants would be there. And the investment would be something between 14 to 16 lakh rupees. So you can get a yield of something around 390 kgs in a cycle. Like if we will consider 3,000 plants and if we are having 130 gram, so this in this way you can get up to 390 kgs per cycle. So you can in the same way we are taking the cycle in outdoor farm, in the same way you can take up to 10 number of cycles in a year. So if we will talk about like your yearly cycle, so the total annual production would be your 390 rupees. 3 sorry 300 and 3,900 kgs. So if you are expenses, like as I have already mentioned in the previous slide, these all expenses would be there. It will increase the expense of in the like indoor farm you will have an expense of like grow light, so electricity expenses would be on a higher side. So here you will get an expense of almost 120 rupees. So in this way you can get almost 4 lakh 68,000 rupees of expenses in a year for growing of your 3,900 kgs of produce. So if you are selling it at a price of 300 rupees kg, now like your total revenue would be for 3,900 kgs is 11 lakh 70,000 rupees. Now you have already like done the expenses in growing of the crops, so your net profit would be something around 7 lakh 2,000 rupees. In the same way, it is for 1,000 and 4,000 square feet. Now, if we will talk about your naturally ventilated polygons for the wine crops, if you will consider we are developing a farm for 1 acre area, so the project cost would be 60 lakh rupees, excluding of GST and transportation. Number of cycles would be one. Like we are considering the cycle of we are considering the crops like cucumber and bell peppers. So bell pepper is having a cycle of 8 to 9 months, and cucumber is having a cycle of 3 months. So we are considering, first of all we are considering a cycle of bell peppers. In bell peppers you are getting a 3 kgs of produce from one plant, and in 1 acre of farm you are having 12,000 number of plants. So total production in one cycle is something around your 36,000 kgs. In the 36,000 kgs, if you are selling it at a price of 100 rupees, so your total revenue would be 36 lakh rupees. Out of that, like if you are the operational expenses would be there, definitely it would be there because we are running a farm for a year. So the plant's cost per plant cost would be something around like you 8 rupees per plant, so it will cost you 96,000 rupees for 12,000 number of plants. And if we are in 1 acre of farm, we require four number of labors. So for 270 days, like for 300 rupees we are paying them, so it will cost you something around 300 3,24,000 rupees. Now if we will talk about your fertilizer, nutrients and biopesticides, so it will charge you something around like it will cost you something around 4 lakh rupees. If you will talk about your like electricity and packaging, so electricity will cost you something around 90,000 rupees for a one cycle. Like because the air circulation fans would run there, the your water pump would run there. Now, if we'll talk about the employee, like for the agronomist, if we are considering like one person, so it will cost you something around 2,64,000 rupees. For the farm maintenance, like on a yearly basis, if we will talk about, it will cost you something around 2,60,000 rupees. Like for the polyfilm, like every 3 years we have to change the polyfilm because the UV depletion layer got damaged from that. That's why we have to change the polyfilm. So the total annual expenses would be something around 14 lakh 34,000 rupees. Now, if you will talk about your annual income, so we have generated the revenue of 36 lakh rupees. Out of that, if we have reduced these expenses, operational expenses of 14 lakh 34,000 rupees, so we will be having a like annual income of 21 lakh 66,000 from the crop of bell pepper. Now we are remaining with the 3 months of cucumber, uh, like remaining with the 3 months in a year with, so we can do a crop of cucumbers. As I have told you, it is having a cycle of 3 months. So again, 12,000 number of plants you have planted for the cucumbers. In the same way, like it is also giving you a produce of 3 to 4 kgs from one plant. So in the same way, you can get a produce of almost 36,000 rupees, 36,000 kgs of produce. Now, if we will talk about your 36,000 kgs of produce, so the average market price for your cucumber is between 15 to 30 rupees. Let's consider it at a price of 20 rupees. We have sold it, average price. So it will generate a revenue of 7 lakh 20,000 rupees. Out of that, if you have minus like almost 3 lakh 50,000 for the expenses of growing of 3 months, then also you are remaining with the 3 lakh rupees. So in the same way, you can get total revenue of 24 lakh 16,000 rupees in a year. In this way, you can get ROI of within 2 to 2.5 years. Now, if you will talk about your wine crops, in the same way, wine crop for in the net house. So in net house, if we will talk about same for 1 acre, we will consider so 50 lakh rupees would be there. Like and rest of the things like if you will talk about 50 lakh rupees for your project, total project cost excluding of GST and transportation, number of cycles is one. If you will talk about your number of plants in 1 acre, that is also same 12,000 number of plants for the if you will consider the. So in the same way, like you can get ROI within 2.1 year, like the cost is same, just the structure difference is there. Now, if you will talk about the government aids and subsidies. So basically, there are two governing bodies for the subsidies. One is your National Horticulture Board. It is a central government body, and if we will talk about the National Horticulture Mission, so it is a state government body. Basically, these two types of government bodies were there. Like if we will talk about your like National Horticulture Board, so minimum area required to get the subsidy is 2,500 square meters. Like for the National Horticulture Mission, if you will talk about, so you can get a subsidy from 10,000 square meters. So like you can get the subsidy, like you can avail the benefit of subsidy on the basic things like initial infrastructure development, protected structure erection, irrigation system you can get on the planting material, plantation, fertigation, mechanization, on all this you can get the subsidies. Now, if you will talk about the like documents required for getting the subsidy is your PAN card, Aadhaar card, land documents, land map. The land map should be of district level. Basically, like if we are doing it on a lease land, so the lease land agreement should be minimum 15 years, and a passport size photograph. Now, there are different types of stages. So it takes almost 4 months to get the subsidy. Like it's a credit link subsidy. So we have to take a loan of from the banks and we can get the subsidy in this way. Like first of all, like there are different types of stages. As I have told you, like one is your detailed project report. We have to prepare completely elaborate report regarding the project, what we are making, what we are going to grow. All this report we have to submit it to the NHB. Detailed appraisal by like then we are like they are giving the like appraisal note to the bank or somewhere like we have got the like application for the subsidy and all, then we will get a in principle approval. In principle approval means like we are like uh, eligible for getting the subsidy. Like if we have got the in principle approval means we are eligible for this, we will get, surely we will get the subsidy. Now if we will get the GOC, like GOC is like grant of commissioning, like when we get the grant of commissioning, then we can start the polyhouse work. And we are also providing some of the online and offline hydroponic trainings. So as I have already told you, so in it's a 2 days offline hydroponic training. We are having on 7th and 8th of October in Ahmedabad this time. So one is your like on the first day we will guide you for seven like theoretical session, completely theoretical session would be there. In that we will cover the technical aspect, operational aspect, commercial aspect, government subsidy schemes, how to sell the produce. We are guiding you all on that. Now the second day would be completely operational training, a complete farm tour would be there, hands-on experience would be there, then the expert interaction would be there. So we are covering all these things in these 2 days, and after that we are providing you with the certificate, and along with that we are providing you a pen drive so that you can check all this stuff which we have shown you in the workshop regarding the economics and all. We are guiding you on that. Basically, hands-on training, you can see we are growing media preparation training is given by like our agronomists. Then we are helping the people how to sow the seeds, this harvesting, they are pruning, and I am guiding them on like how to do the transplantation. Basically, there are some of the pictures of our farms. This is a like farm located in Lucknow. This one is in your uh, Raver, Maharashtra. This is in Haldwani. This is in Raver, Maharashtra. So in this way, we have to do like this is a flatbed NFT. Another one is your Dutch bucket system. This one is your flatbed NFT. This one is your flatbed NFT. This one is your A-frame NFT. This is your Dutch bucket system. Here you can see the pictures of like one is your grow bag system. This one is also grow bag system. This is your grow bag system. This one is your grow slab system. You can see the produce pictures also. We are getting a very good produce.